Good afternoon, everybody. This is July 13th. We're here, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for Ingwe Immigration. We're here to answer all of your questions live. No matter where you are in the world, what questions you have, we're here every Tuesday answering your questions. The way it works is you post your question on the comment section. Don't worry if the question seems too obvious, too hard, or too whatever it is. We're here to help you out. We're live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So if there are questions on the other platforms, I will be reading them out loud and answering them live. Okay. So if anybody is interested, you can post your questions. We're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, some great news from the Canadian government, as I repeated this morning at our 9 a.m. session, was that for South American nationals like Colombia, Peru, and Brazil, the student direct stream has been introduced, which fast tracks students for international students coming here to study. And it's fast processing, and typically it's 98% approval rate. Okay. If you don't know what student direct stream is, don't worry. Just mention to us here in comment section. We'd be happy to answer them. Keep in mind that PRs are still being processed. PR applicants who are outside of Canada are now allowed to enter Canada, depending on the date when your confirmation of PR was issued. So during COVID last year, most people, even if their PR was confirmed, were not allowed to enter Canada, correct? So what that means now is that we do have that accessibility. The borders are more flexible. If you have been vaccinated with Western mRNA vaccinations, you have that option to enter Canada, depending if you have travel authorization. So the borders are being slowly open. Travel authorizations are being issued for family members of international students and workers. So if you're in one of those categories, it should be good news for you, right? Everybody is getting what they want, right? So again, if you have any questions, we can answer them live. Otherwise, we're going to go through what's happened in Canadian immigration. Express entry, we just had a draw, 369 points, I believe, which was an increase in the points since the last draw for Canadian experience class. If you are in the express entry pool and you're outside of Canada for the time being without Canadian experience, they're not inviting you. But later on this year or early next year, it could open up. So we have a question from Manjas on our Instagram page. In the comment section says, "Hello, sir. I applied for my postgraduate open work permit on May 14th by myself, but did not get the response yet. You know how long for that?" Okay, you know how long it will take. Yeah, so you applied for postgraduate work permit May 14th. You should have received it by now. Okay, so typically postgraduate work permits are being processed within a month right now, so 30 days. Inside Canada, study permits within a week. If you're applying for postgraduate work permit from outside of Canada, then that's a different issue. But if it's from inside, it's usually 1 month. This is what our postgraduate work permit clients are getting. So if it's taking longer, it can happen, of course. But within this month, you have to hear back. If you don't, you have to make sure you send a web form to IRCC and you ask for a status update on your application. And they will respond to you within 2 weeks latest. Inside. Okay. Yeah. So no worries. I mean, it does happen sometimes. Some people's applications are done quicker, but if your application is straightforward, you included all the documents, it should have been done faster. So if it's taken 2 months, I would say send a web form now or in the next 1 week. Wait 1 more week and then send it. Okay. So we have another question on our Instagram. It's asking, Attila Zenozi is asking, can international student parents apply for visitor visa? Of course you can apply if you're the parents of an international student. But whether the embassy will issue you the visa or approve your visa, that's a different story. Depends on your profile, your background, your nationality, where you're applying. So, and then getting a visa and then coming to Canada, again, you need travel authorization. But first, you need to get a visa. You are allowed to apply. It may take many months to be approved. Now, the approval process, the processing times are improving. Okay, so if you apply now, if it was last year, it would probably take a year. But if you apply now, there's a chance in several months that they will give you a decision. But it's not fast and it's not guaranteed. Okay, that's one thing you need to be careful with Canadian immigration and dealing with the embassies. Okay, there's no guarantee you'll be approved. And the second one, there's no guarantee when you'll get a response. With study permits, it's quicker, it's faster, it's a little bit more clear as long as you do your biometrics. Okay, but with visitor visas, the processing times are quite long. Okay, so this is just a reference for anybody who's applying for a visitor visa for yourself, for loved ones, for anybody overseas. Okay, it is slow. So if you have any questions, the way it works is you post it here on our Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. We will answer the questions on our live. Any questions that come up that we can answer. Again, we're here in Canada helping anybody from outside or inside apply for visas, apply for schools, apply for anything to be able to get their Canadian immigration paperwork going. So whether it's a work permit, a study permit, a visa, family sponsorship, business immigration, coming in, going out, renewing, restoring, whatever it is, we're here to help. So PR applications inside of Canada are being prioritized, as everybody knows, TR to PR pathways. The occupations, healthcare, by the way, if you're in the healthcare occupations listed on the Canadian website, you are inside of Canada, there's only about 17,900 people left. Like that means only 2,000 something people have applied. Okay, so that means there's more than 17,000 positions or applications still left for English applicants. So if you're in healthcare, if you're non-healthcare but essential, the program we expect will close in the next few weeks. Why? It's because we're already close to, I think we're like 14,000 or something like that. I think this morning I mentioned. Let's see here, TR to PR pathway, IRCC. Basically, for the non-healthcare essential workers, 22,650 people have applied under the English stream so far. So there's less than 8,000 spots left. Okay, so if you're doing express entry, make sure you get in because end of July we'll have another draw. If you have Canadian experience, then you're looking at around 350 to 370 something points right now. The points will go up, the points will come down. Nobody knows, but the important part is to have a valid express entry profile. Okay, Vasu Juneja, no worries. Thank you for the compliment. So if there's any questions about IELTS, admission to colleges or schools, so a lot of our clients are asking, I'm outside, I'm in Colombia, I'm in Peru, I'm in Brazil. Can I come and study in Canada? Yes. If you get a study permit and your school is approved with a quarantine plan, you are allowed to enter Canada. Okay. So that's a very important point. If you don't have IELTS, you can come through Pathway. So that's like a language school or a language program without taking the exam. Okay. So this is very important for anybody who's planning to come to Canada as a student. You need to get an approved study permit. It may take anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks, depending on where you're applying from, what nationality you're in. If you're inside of Canada, study permits are being renewed within 10 days. Okay. If you're outside of Canada, we're looking at around average 4 weeks if you did your biometrics on time. Okay. So that's important. Sometimes it takes 8 weeks. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks. If you're in the student direct stream, it's faster. Next week, we're going to have one of my colleagues join us. We're going to talk about the student direct stream new program open for Costa Rica, Brazil, Colombia, Peru, Antigua, Trinidad, Tobago. Okay, these are besides the countries like India, China, Philippines, Senegal, Morocco, and India, right? Those already have their student direct streams, but now the student direct stream has been introduced. Another point to mention for anybody who's applying from outside is that make sure you have all your documents, because the delays, if your documents are not in order, your application will be pushed back even further. So there's more delays. Okay, so when you're uploading any documents for a study permit, for a visa, for an express entry, for a PR, no matter what, make sure it's complete. If it's not, what will happen is there will be major delays in application processing. Okay, let's look. Somebody was asking us earlier today, if I get refused for a visitor visa, study permit, or work permit, what do I do? Well, potentially, if you think it was unfair, there was an error in law, in judgment by the officer, you are able to, you are eligible, or you are allowed to apply for appeal in federal court. So it is done. We do it all the time with our partners. For work permit, visitor visa, study permits for high refusal regions. Okay, so if your family or yourself are being refused and the reasoning is not justifiable, you believe there's an error of law, you can appeal it in federal court inside of Canada. Even if you've never stepped foot in Canada, you have the right to appeal a decision by a government organization. Okay. So this is what we do with a lot of our clients that do get refused. So far, hi Rahul, how are you? So far, a lot of TR to PR pathway applicants are wondering what's happening. Why is it so slow? They are being processed, everybody. Nobody has heard yet, but as soon as we hear, we will post and message everybody to make sure that, yes, they are issuing letters and correspondences to TR to PR pathway applicants, right? For the international student stream, which is closed for English applicants, if you're French speaker, it is open until November 5th. Okay, so if you're a French speaking international student who's graduated, who meets the eligibility and is working, you can apply up to November. Same with healthcare workers and non-healthcare essential workers. And the essential workers are on the occupation list. And remember, everybody, if you're on employment insurance, you're not employed. So you cannot work and get employment insurance. You actually have to be working. And if you're on employment insurance, that can affect your immigration application. Okay. So if there's any other questions, we'd be happy to answer. If not, we are happy to leave everybody and move on and come back next Tuesday. It's beautiful weather here in Toronto, in Canada. Obviously, we have rain, we have sun, but it's not freezing. So if you're here in Canada, you enjoy that, right? You're enjoying summer. If you're outside of Canada, you're like, how's the Canadian weather? Well, it's good right now. It's the time to come in. If you're thinking of coming in during winter, good luck. You're going to freeze. It's freaking cold here. Okay? So I appreciate everybody coming in today. And if there's any other questions, we'd be happy to answer them. If not, we're going to sign off and we're going to be back here next Tuesday, okay, at 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern time, North America Eastern time, okay? So if there's no more questions, we'll be back. And next week, we will have one of my colleagues join us, and we will talk about the student direct stream that has been introduced for all the other countries just as of Friday. So one last question. Anush Anasim is asking, I withdrew my TR2PR application. What should I answer in express entry? Have you applied for express entry before? No, because express entry is express entry. TR2PR pathway is not express entry. So have you applied for express entry before? means no, unless you have, because the TR2 PR pathway is not related to express entry, but you've withdrawn it. Now you're going through the express entry application and you have never applied before, so you say no. But again, make sure you're answering correctly, because each person has their own. Have you ever applied for PR before? Oh, okay. Well, it depends when you withdrew, Anush, right? So if you say you've applied for PR before, it's a little bit tricky because your PR may not be have been processed yet, right? So there's two. I would say go with no. Why? Is because it hasn't been processed. So you're withdrawing it and you're applying under the express entry, right? Because if it says if you say yes, it may ask you further questions, right? Were you refused? What happened, right? So that's fine. I would say you just say no and you go ahead with your express entry. With the express entry, your application can be processed between 3 to 5 months. Okay, with the TR to PR pathway, we expect everybody to be processed within this year. When? Nobody knows. We're waiting for updates from the government. Okay, so I would say no, because it did not get processed, right? So when it asks, have you applied for PR before? Basically, they want to see if you were refused or if it was processed and something happened, right? Yeah, you can apply. Yeah, I would say you can include something in the letter of explanation, right? So just to clarify that I did have a TR to PR, but I withdrew on this date, and this is proof, for example. So if you do that, it's just a safety net. It's an insurance policy. Okay. So if there's no more questions, should I put the letter? Yeah, you should put the letter of explanation. If there's no more questions, we're going to sign off. We'll be back here next week with a guest speaker. And please don't forget to join us 9 a.m., 5 p.m. If you're in West Coast, that's 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. If you're in Colombia, Peru, Brazil, that would be approximately like 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., depending which parts of South America you are. If you're in India or Vietnam, it's longer. If you're in East Coast North America, it is 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. No worries, everybody. Take care. Good luck. And again, we'll be back again every Tuesday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.